As if we haven't had enough of Diablo Immortal news and drama and whatnot. The Honest Game trailer for Diablo Immortal is finally out. Honestly, I've been looking forward to this one since the whole thing started. I kind of suspected that there was gonna be one sooner or later, so I'm actually really looking forward to this. It is depressing, but if we're not all here to just, get our daily dose of depression, then what are we doing anyway? Oh, oh gosh. Oh, so many people have requested it.
After creating a gaming experience that defined an entire genre and carefully preserved its reputation by only releasing a sequel once a decade, discover what happens
Yeah, it's like if you don't release a sequel, you can't really mess up what you've already built, can you?
when Blizzard sheds every designer that matters and finally falls prey to the eventuality all video game IPs will face. Getting a watered-down mobile version that doesn't even pretend that it's not trying to grind money out of you like you're a Nephilim Rift.
You guys not have
Oh
phones?
god.
Yeah, you guys all have phones, right?
Diablo Immortal. Welcome to the future that this random guy in a red shirt warned us about.
Is this
I love how he actually made it into honest game trailers. Like we all should have listened to this dude, I swear.
an out of season April Fool's joke?
Where phones are now powerful enough to run an experience that kind of looks like Diablo 3, but they still haven't figured out the part where it sucks ass to play.
Yeah, instead of Blizzard, we should all just go ahead and blame the technology for enabling us to play games like this on our phones instead of having Nokia's with snakes and whatnot. I'm not actually sure how many of you guys will understand that reference, but that's okay.
As the sliver of skill and concentration that the PC franchise required is tossed aside for sliding your greasy thumbs all over a tiny screen, auto-running to the next objective while you fall asleep on the bus, and loosely slapping your abilities around at anything that moves. In an experience that reviewers will call the best ARPG you can play on a phone, ignoring the fact that the rest
Too
of them
good to be
feel about
free.
as fun as giving your grandparents an oil massage. Not that playing it on the PC is that much better, unless you're a fan of playing the cookie clicker version of Diablo. Discover an adventure somehow more repetitive than a normal Diablo storyline, set in between the existing game.
I think this is where I left off with my MSQ. I remember meeting this guy, and that is pretty much it. I'm level 21. I never made it past.
When an ancient evil has yet again been awakened. You'll choose a champion from a team of the exact same guys from Diablo 3, using largely the same abilities, and meeting up with all of the same guys from the real game, as you run around really familiar set dressings.
It's weird to me how well, it's not weird actually, just taking everything in consideration. It's only to be expected, but as someone who's playing Final Fantasy 14 and who's only starting to play other Final Fantasy titles, where yes, you from time to time do meet the characters that you met in other games, no one's really complaining about that. It's only when this kind of drama happens that everyone's suddenly like, oh shit, everything is just the same. But I guess the difference between FF14 and the rest of the Final Fantasy franchise is that literally not everything is copied. So there's that.
Except for the usual expansive maps, they've been streamlined into extremely bite-sized chunks, as you quest to find 3 of a thing that you'll be guided to immediately, to fight a boss that you'll mash attack until it dies, and watch a cutscene to get shot to a new area to do the same thing over again. All of which combine to remind you that you could be playing a better version of this at all times, and make the differences feel like exactly what it is. A mundane imitation that you're
Like Path of Exile.
supposed to no-brain while taking a shit. Take out a second mortgage to prepare for the actually terrible part of Diablo Immortal, the microtransactions. As the game gives you a solid 8-ish hours of leveling with relatively few upsells, then grinds to a halt as you run into level limits for story quests, forcing you to grind away at the same content over and over again, essentially stretching out 15 hours of actual gameplay into 30. Or of course you could just fork over some cash and make the game fun again, until you run into another gate a couple of hours later, and God forbid you get to the end game, where you'll endlessly grind hoping for legendary gems that
God.
will never drop for you, that you'll need to even contend in the pay-to-win PvP mode that you'll probably just stop playing once you get steamrolled by a character someone dropped a couple $100s on. All
If only it was a couple $100s.
accumulating to an experience that will put off even people that initially liked this housefire of a game, leaving only Saudi princes and whales that clearly need a gambling intervention to flex on the poors. Or so you would think. In a system which technically you don't have to pay to play if you don't plan on doing the endgame, PvP, or basically anything else that Diablo at this point is known for. You know, I think the most nefarious thing about this whole thing is the fact that you essentially have to work for the loot box that you paid for.
Oh god, I love how this turned into, the calm voice of how they usually do these honest game trailers into a complete fuck it. I'm just gonna go ahead and say everything.
Which at this point, you're paying less for the items and more for the pain. Honestly, just pay someone to step on your balls. You'll probably save a lot more money. So clean that phone screen and get your parents' credit card ready for a game that is a ridiculously obscene attempt at maximizing monetization at worst and a middling mobile title at best, in a bitter experience that doesn't come from a lack of technical prowess, but from watching a thing you love.
I wonder how a dev who's honestly just been working on this project because that's their freaking job and not the person um who who made these horrible decisions. I wonder how they feel, sitting there just watching these trailers, being like, damn, this is the product of my work. This is the legacy that I leave behind. It sucks, man.
Get processed by the same garbage content churning machine as everything else. Also, if you thought the reception for Immortal was bad, it'll be 1,000 times worse if any of these systems pop up in D4. Unless they add enrolling for anime girls or topless men, then it's totally justified.
Yeah.
Starring Sigma Grindset, Snooze Satyr, Renfair Raver, Kung Fu Hustler, Leaderboard Hunter, and Actual Cancer. Diablo Shadow Legends. I mean, come on. A Diablo game without inventory management? That's sacrilege. It's like making a sneaker without child labor. Tell us what you'd like to hear in my epic voice in the comments below.
I wanna actually, do you know what we're gonna do? I wanna see how many views this has. This published on June 28th, so around a week ago, 500,000 views. I wanna sort the comments by okay, they're sorted by top. Blizzard, the company that wants to be the next EA, without realizing one EA has already won too many. Oh gosh. Instead of playing this game, go to a high street, find a homeless person, give them $100, and ask them to slap you in the face. You beat the game and you help society. Jeez. Well, the fact that this wasn't published in Belgium and Netherlands because we banned loot boxes. That should say more than enough. Truly one of the games of all time. Thank you for being honest about the gameplay. Yeah, of course. I almost spit out my coffee when you mentioned to take it out a second mortgage to level up your gear. So accurate. Oh, this is epic. Oh, the Wii sneaker. Oh god, this is supposed to, I don't know, be funny and not funny at the same time. It's so depressing that we live in this world where this is funny, but what can you do? Seeing Blizzard turn into a greedy company is so gut wrenching. I think I used to want to strive to be an artist for them. I hope they change in a decade or so. Do you know what? Like a long time ago, I applied for Blizzard Community Manager, and back then I was really deep into Hearthstone, like I don't know, tournaments and whatnot. I was still pretty much a nobody, but a little less than just every other nobody, I guess, who's never really applied to that position. So I think I went through like the first circle or whatever, and then like 2 months later they just told me that I wasn't picked. And after all this drama, I'm just sitting here being totally grateful that I didn't like change my whole life and move away and sacrificed everything just to work there. Oh my god. Really want to see a game where the end boss is a cash shop. Well, we already have it. Oh. Let me see if there's any more. The most amazing part of this is that I got an ad for the actual game after watching the video. Great video followed by the most amazing irony. So they actually purchased YouTube ads to get people to play Diablo. Come on. Everyone who's on YouTube pretty much is aware of what Diablo is and why they should not. It's incredibly depressing how successful this game is. Yeah, this is actually the saddest part. This actually makes me want to dust off Diablo 3 to remember the relatively pleasant introduction it gave me to the franchise before Blizzard burned it to the ground. I actually never played Diablo up until Diablo Immortal. It's sad that this is my first experience with Diablo. It kind of like I don't know. On one hand, I kind of want to go and check out these older titles that are actually worth playing, and on the other hand, I just want to have nothing to do with their games whatsoever.